NRC event notification reports for February 19 and February 20, 2013, on-site death of a contractor at the Brunswick nuclear plant in North Carolina, and another fatality of a potentially contaminated worker at the Perry nuclear plant in Ohio. 2 more deaths occurred last week at the nuclear plants. In addition to the previously reported death at the Cook nuclear plant in Michigan on February 7, 2013, NRC ENR dated February 8, 2013. On February 16, 2013, the main control room at the Brunswick nuclear plant was notified of a contract employee slumped over on a forklift inside the protected area. First responders were dispatched to the scene. Off-site assistance arrived on site. CPR was administered by the first responders and the paramedics. The paramedics determined that the efforts to revive the patient were unsuccessful. The cause of death has not yet been determined. Brunswick Unit 1 remains at 100% power. Unit 2 remains at 97% power. A press release is not planned at this time. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration will be notified of the fatality. The third death this month occurred on February 19, 2013 at the Perry nuclear plant in Ohio. The control room was notified that a supplemental worker, a contract individual, had fallen and was injured. The worker was in a contaminated area. Due to the individual's condition, the individual was not surveyed by a health physics technician prior to being transported in their anti-contamination clothing. The individual was transported by ambulance accompanied by health physics personnel to the local hospital for medical treatment. Tripoint Medical Center. Subsequently, the worker was declared deceased at the hospital. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration and the Lake County coroner were notified. Subsequent surveys found no contamination on the worker, a hospital, medical personnel, or ambulance. No press release is planned. Background: the Brunswick nuclear plant is located in North Carolina. The site contains 2 General Electric boiling water reactors, which are cooled by water collected from the Cape Fear River and discharged into the Atlantic Ocean. Fish, crustaceans, and other debris are removed from the cooling water via a filtration system. The water then flows through the nuclear plant and discharges into a 5-mile-long canal which passes under the Intracoastal Waterway at one point. Progress Energy is the majority owner, 81.7%, and operator of the Brunswick nuclear plant. The North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Agency owns the remaining 18.3%. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission defines 2 emergency planning zones around nuclear power plants. First is a plume exposure pathway zone with a radius of 10 miles, concerned primarily with exposure and inhalation of airborne radioactive contamination. Second is an ingestion pathway zone of about 50 miles, concerned primarily with ingestion of food and liquid contaminated by radioactivity. The 2010 United States population within 10 miles of Brunswick was 36,413. The 2010 United States population within 50 miles was 468,953. Cities within 50 miles include Wilmington, 18 miles to city center. It should be noted that the Brunswick reactors have the same containment system as the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant in Japan. The Perry nuclear power plant is located on Lake Erie, 40 miles northeast of Cleveland, Ohio. Built at a cost of $6 billion, Perry 1 is one of the most expensive power plants ever constructed. The nuclear power plant is owned by First Energy Nuclear Operating Corporation. According to the multinational Monitor magazine in 2006, First Energy was named one of the 10 worst corporations. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission defines 2 emergency planning zones around nuclear power plants. First is a plume exposure pathway zone with a radius of 10 miles, concerned primarily with exposure and inhalation of airborne radioactive contamination. Second is an ingestion pathway zone of about 50 miles, concerned primarily with ingestion of food and liquid contaminated by radioactivity. The 2010 United States population within 10 miles of Perry was 83,410. The 2010 United States population within 50 miles was 2,281,531. Cities within 50 miles include Cleveland with 36 miles to city center. Canadian population is naturally not included in these figures.